No, I mean, I met him, but then when we started working on the film, we just worked as hard as we could to get as much of that, you know. Poe was sort of like a guy who was, like Orpheus descending, he was going into this underworld, and he was always going into, you know, the subconscious and the depths and stuff. And so we tried to make sure we got as much of that language and as much of that feeling in the movie. And then he also made these crazy genre things, these horror genres, so it's almost like Poe becomes a character in one of his own stories, which is kind of like meta.
I was just going to say, it seems like really meta to come back.
Yeah.
Almost like, you know, the horror film that was created by Poe is now a horror film.
That's enveloping him, you know, which I think feeds into his theme of a guy going crazy, and where does sort of waking end, you know, or where does being awake end and dreaming begin? Like, what's that twilight between life and death, sleeping and awake? He was always interested in those things, so the movie sort of plays around with those things too.
Is there anything in Poe that you see in yourself or saw in yourself after you
No.
Zero things. We're going to start taking questions from the audience soon, so if you guys want to line up in the middle right there. I've always been kind of interested in your choices in acting. I always thought that you made great choices in terms of what movies to do. Is there anything specific that you look for when you're going into a role?
Well, I think you just try to do something good. Sometimes, you know, you choose it, and sometimes you just look for the best job you can get, or sometimes sort of these things choose you a little bit. So I don't really know. It's a little bit of a magic act, just trying to stay doing good stuff. And, you know.
For The Raven, did it choose you, or did you choose it?
I think this sort of chose me, but I was like quick to jump on it. Like when I got the shot, I thought it was a really great role. I mean, I don't think if you're an actor, and if you don't want to play Edgar Allan Poe, you should kind of retire. that's a really crazy, juicy, you know, fucked up dude.
I think
that's really fun to play.
That's the best description of Edgar Allan Poe I think I've ever heard.
Really literate, really.
Awesome. Right here in front.
Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
My car is named Lloyd, just so you know.
Wow.
Okay,
Is it an Impala?
No, although I do wish I had a replica of the Camaro and Better Off Dead, because it's my favorite car in the world.
You must have been still in the womb when that was found.
I'm actually 30. I look a lot younger than I am. And I actually went through the Music Box Theater for the first time after I saw you come out of the Music Box Theater in one of your movies, and heard that it's one of your favorite movie theaters.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Have you been there?
Not for a while, no, not for a while.
Should go back.
On Southport, right?
Yep, Southport Madison, between everywhere.
We need more revival houses in Chicago.
So did you get a chance to watch any of like the Vincent Price movies that you made and kind of study that?
I watched a lot of those, but those are so they're kind of so kitsch, you know. And I think that's cool because in a way Poe was writing like satire, and he was writing sort of burlesque and vaudeville, and so Roger Corman did that part of, you know, he sort of keyed into that side of Poe, but he was also writing really terrifying, scary, bone-chilling stuff, and I never got scared by those Vincent Price movies.
No.
But it's a cool take on Poe. It's like, you know, that's their dream of Poe, and this is our dream of Poe. And, you know,
are you scared of your own movie?
It's hard for me to tell because when I'm in them, I just try to, you know, it's hard to take back and look at them. But I think this one's pretty scary. I thought 1408 was pretty scary.
Yeah, that was good.
I would love to have a conversation with Stephen King about Edgar Allan Poe, because I can only imagine how those two sort of genius minds would have, you know, how Stephen King would have been affected by Poe and what he would have to say about Poe just as a writer and as a guy who does like gothic horror, you know. Fall of the House of Usher could very well be The Shining, you know, in so many ways. I mean, they're both geniuses, but I'm sure.
Well, there's not many characters that could pull off Edgar Allan Poe, so I'm glad that they chose you.
Well, thank you.
I love you. I won't take up any more of your time.
Thank you. And she's wearing a fishbone shirt.
Hi, I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you, sir.
In your past couple movies, you did use your martial arts skills. You showed them off, and co-star Chiwetel first spar?
I kicked his ass. No, I didn't.
I really wish that was true. Sir.
Hi, how you doing? First
up,
I want to
man?
thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
You bring entertainment. That's not something everybody can do. Alright. My question is, I noticed in a lot of your movies, you bring to the screen sort of, I'm not going to say the same character, but you generally do kind of a somber, you know, depressed, you know, in pain character. But you also bring comedy to it, which we all love and we can all relate to. And I'm just wondering what your process behind doing that is, or you know, if that just comes naturally.
Somebody asked Edgar Allan Poe, they said, "You're a liar," and he said, "It comes naturally." I think usually characters who are, you know, trying to find their way in the world, or characters who are, you know, trying to put themselves against society or against the system are always interesting. And then ultimately then you find out it's sort of man versus himself. So, you know, I don't know. It must be something you're interested in. But I think if you did characters that were like, you know, the Buddha, they'd be boring because they're totally enlightened and they don't have any flaws. So I usually like to do character. I think the drama is what makes people human, and that means that you have to show all their vulnerabilities and shadows and stuff. Or maybe that's just naturally who I am, is funny and fucked up.
Thank you.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Bear with me, I have a friend of mine who couldn't be here today and she really wanted to. So I'm going to read you a question from her, if that's okay.
Okay.
Can I have your phone number? And not for why you think. So that we can have a couple shots of Ezra Brooks, chill and just have an intelligent conversation, as those are an endangered species, both conversations and intelligence. They're few and far between. And so how do we encounter people who are worth real time? Like me. So hopefully we can get together.
One question. What is Ezra Pound? Is that Ezra?
Ezra Brooks.
Ezra Brooks?
It's whiskey.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, tell her I hope to meet her one day.
John, you have such a good sense of humor, and I was just wondering, what are the chances that you would team up with some of the people from Hot Tub Time Machine and do another sequel to that, or just team up with those guys?
Yeah, it's like I would do it. It's always the studios that make it hard to make these things. I would do all the actors always want to do stuff, but we could do it. We'd be like called. We could take it to this era, and it would be Hot Tub Crime Machine. You could really do anything, but you know, I talked about that with those guys. That was really fun.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying I think you're one of the best actors of our generation. Thanks for what you do. And regardless of who disagrees with this, and I think if you do, you should get out of the room. Grosse Point Blank is the greatest black comedy of all time. And my question relates directly to that. I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me and say I should be talking about Ione Skye, but the chemistry that came across on the screen between you and Minnie Driver was incredible. And I just would like to ask you what it was like working with her and how she fit into where the idea came from to bring her in for that project.
You know, that was just, we were just, you know, auditioning girls, and she just seemed like she sort of got the sense of humor, which is like sort of a sweet spot where, you know, it's kind of a gallows humor. It's definitely black comedy, and you know, you have to be pretty self-aware to do that stuff, you know. And she just has a great, quick mind, and is really fun, and has that edge to her. You know, I don't know, she just felt right.
Great, thanks again.
Hello.
Hi.
John Cusack. I'm Cookie. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I would like to ask, when is your movie Shanghai going to be released?
I don't know. You have to ask the distributor. He was, I think he lost all his money, and then he,
Oh.
so he could, you know, he released it in Asia, but he hasn't released it here yet. So hopefully it'll come out soon.
When your movie The Paperboy is going to be released?
That should be, I think, this fall for sure. Yeah.
Why was the movie The Raven remade?
Well, it's a different version of The Raven. The Raven, the Roger
Damn.
Raven movie was a whole different thing. This is its own story. So they both have the same title, but they're different movies.
Are you afraid of movie critics reviewing your movies?
No, not so much.
Damn.
Especially these days, they don't seem to matter so much anymore because everybody can get, you know, everybody gets to each other their own way and information spreads in different ways, so you don't really need somebody to tell you what you like or you don't like anymore. I like people who write intelligently about films, but they, you know, really the studios that make movies these days, you know, they hope they get good notices, but they don't really care because the word's going to spread, and you really can't do anything about it. If people like the movie, they tell each other, and they go on social media and tell each other. So, in that sense, there's you know, there's more critics than ever, and they sort of even it out. There's not like one critic who can sort of make or break a movie anymore.
Would you mind if I wrote some movies for you? Copyright them? That's if you want to play them.
Can I get a piece of them too? Can I get a piece of them too?
Yes.
Split them. Split the. All right. Yeah.